This podcast replay is brought to you by AccidentLawFirm.com. For truck, motorcycle, and rideshare accidents, call Bobby Nunez, 305-444-4407. AccidentLawFirm.com.
Steve Calabro in the house, sitting down. You want to get Steve on here? Well, let's put him where he belongs, over there with the mic. Come on, Steve.
The mic has been waiting for your arrival, sir.
Did you see over there? Ah. Of that, huh? We're growing every day, dude.
Got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, man.
A lot to talk about.
How about tonight? Be here tonight for the Larry Little
Big event tonight, Larry Little.
Put the mic a little bit more towards.
Alrighty, sure.
Big
Event tonight.
Yes.
We got Larry Little in the house.
Yeah, man.
With all the other Hall of Fame Dolphins and some other
NFL players.
NFL players. It's going to be a great event tomorrow. Golfing, 12 noon at Shula's Country Club. You get to see my ridiculous skills in golf.
Oh, there you go.
It's one of those sports that I've been playing for 40 years. And the other day I told my friend, we've been playing for 40 years, and I stunk when I was 20, and 40 years later, I still stink at golf.
Yeah.
So I haven't gotten any worse.
Right.
Haven't gotten any worse. But
That's always a good thing.
It's a frustrating sport. But you know what? Last year was great, too. This year's going to be great. We played, guys like Bob Greasy were there, and we played with him. I got to tell you, a really good golfer. 74 years old. Probably about single handicap.
Who, Bob?
Bob Greasy, yeah.
Quarterbacks, dude.
Well, they're all the quarterbacks, you're saying.
Game.
Yeah, they know how to do it. They know how to do it.
No, seriously.
Well, yes,
I'm not joking. Seriously. Most quarterbacks are... Tony Romo kills it on the pan. Have you ever seen Marino on a golf course?
Marino's great. Marino's a single, less than 5.
You ever seen him with his tricks?
No, I never did that.
Oh, my... Do you do social media?
Sure.
Watch him on Twitter.
I got to see that.
There's one where he looks at the camera, right? And he hits the ball. Literally, like the camera's right in front of you. He hits the ball, starts walking towards the camera, whips out his hat, and the ball lands like 3 seconds later in his hat. And he's walking like it's nothing. And
wow.
I'm telling you, he hit it straight up in the air.
Wow. You know who else is good? Brady.
Think about that. Could you ever do that?
No, not even. Well, sometimes that happens, and I don't mean it to happen.
No, right. We do when we do an amazing thing. It was just amazing because we were lucky. But my man does it and he's laughing at you.
Wow.
It's a great video. Tom Garfinkel, I think, shot the video. I want to say the president of the Dolphins.
Sure.
I want to say he's the guy that shot the video.
Is he the president or ex? Oh, the current president.
Yeah, he's the president of the Dolphins
and
the stadium. The team and the stadium. Yeah. And Tom, I believe, was with him that day, and he filmed it. And it's such a great video. You guys got to go see it. I mean, Marino used to warm up. When I was covering him, he would come out, and he would warm up, and the guy would be maybe 20 yards away, something like that, like by the door. And he would look at the guy, and he'd flip the ball this way. He'd flip the ball over his head, but
backwards.
His arm backwards. And then he'd let it go, that he'd flip it like this, and it'd go straight like a bullet, like a spiral. Boom, right in the numbers. Ed Perry would be standing there. Boom, right in the numbers.
Wow.
And you're like, whoa. And that's how he would warm up. He'd do it like 20 feet away, then 30 feet away. And you're like,
great athlete.
It's a thing with quarterbacks.
You know what?
Because it's the aim. That's why they play baseball. That's why they usually play football.
But hockey players are good
back in
too.
the day. Not nowadays. Now these kids all play just wood sport, But
I know some hockey players that are good golfers too.
But that's shooting.
I guess.
All these guys that have to aim.
Oh,
hockey players, quarterbacks, baseball players, those guys end up transitioning into hockey. Into golf. Hockey players too, and baseball, because in the swinging of the bat or the swinging of the club, it's the same kind of philosophy in golf almost. It's just a different angle. So they're already so good at that.
What was it a couple weeks ago? Romo
Yeah,
exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, he said,
U.S. Open? U.S. Open.
We were just talking about that.
Dude, he was almost, I mean, that's so
How long you been here?
impressive.
How long you been here, Billy?
I'm over here doing it.
So you know who else is, about 3 or 4 years ago, at one of the Dolphin Foundation golf tournaments, Jim Palmer. Golfed with Jim Palmer.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was great.
Unbelievable. Five, less than a 5 handicap. Less than a 5. And he was actually giving us some tips and stuff. He's one of those guys that can actually tell you 1 or 2 things on the course, which is really a cardinal sin. If you didn't bring it there, you're not going to find it there. But he would tell us a couple of tips and help us out, and really, really knows the game. And here's
hand-eye coordination translates to almost anything when you're good at it. And when you're a hockey player, a baseball player, a football player, a pitcher, that's all you do. And so then all you have to do is learn the adjustment of where that swing is. It's higher or lower, or it's a throw, it's a different kind of throw, whatever it is, it's just an adjustment. It's one of those things, and they have that skill set. And that's why I'm never surprised when I see them play well, because that's what I've seen all my life, that they're able to transition to golf, and it's crazy.
Excellent athletes. Now, talk about excellent athletes. Let's talk about what I like to always talk about is the 5 best teams and the 5 worst teams in the NFL.
Right.
I got to tell you, the 5 worst teams, I need your opinion on this one. It's a little struggle. The 5 best, it's kind of easy.
Right.
I'm going to run through this. You tell me if I'm missing the mark.
Okay.
Maybe, you might have a little different order, but you got to have the Patriots, the Ravens, Seattle, the 49ers, and the Chiefs. You like anybody else? To me, I think that's
Say that again?
Patriots, Ravens, Seattle, 49ers, and the Chiefs.
Oh, no. I disagree completely with you there.
Come on. Where do you got?
New Orleans in front of the Kansas City every day of the week. Oh, yeah. They got a defense, man.
I like that kid.
Kansas City can't play defense.
All right, I'll give you that one. I'm going to give you that one. I'm going to give you that one.
Yeah, Kansas City.
All right, we're going to knock off the Chiefs and put in New Orleans.
Right, yeah, because you got to put New Orleans, Seattle, and San Francisco in your top 5.
Got them all in there. Got them all in there.
And then you put New England and Baltimore. Yeah, that's it.
And now, I'll tell you why I like New Orleans. That kid Tracy, what's his last name? The number 7 on the New Orleans. He's the back.
Oh, yeah. Trayon, whatever. Yeah, the guy plays like
Jones or something.
400 positions. Yeah,
he plays every position on the field.
He'll block a punt, he'll score a touchdown, he'll throw one, he'll catch it.
Very exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah, he's a hell of an athlete. So and by the way, a coach's dream, because think about this. That dude does 8 jobs, okay? So then it's like less players you can keep. You could save a guy in another spot of the roster.
Sure.
I can have an extra defensive tackle because this guy does 4 different positions for me on special teams.
All right, top 5 are a little easier, I think. Now, the worst 5, it's bouncing around a little.
Okay.
Number 5 is real tough for me. So I got the Bengals. Bengals are number 1.
Right.
The Giants, I hate to say it because, I grew up a Giants fan. They're number 2.
Yes, they are.
Now, you're not going to like this, but I have to explain the number 3 spot.
Okay.
The Jets. I think they're pitiful. I know they've got a few more wins, but...
No, but I'm with you because of the underachieving talent. Yes, they're super talented.
They're just being... And that's really the Adam Gase... Someday Adam Gase needs to leave the NFL, and the ownership will figure that out. The 4th worst team, the Dolphins.
Okay.
Now, the 5th worst team... I got 3 candidates for the 5th.
Okay.
The Lions, the Falcons, and the Redskins.
Go Redskins.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, the Lions without Stafford it's a mess.
But that's why you can't blame them because they lost their quarterback. So that's why they're. You know that they would be a little better. So that's not fair. Washington is Washington, no matter who quarterbacks.
Well, they got the kid. The kid's trying.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but even if they had the other guy, it didn't matter. Once they lost Alex Smith. That's the guy that at least would have made them somewhat competitive. Now they lost him. They're a terrible football team plus the owner. So I would go Washington.
You know this bad they are, this bottom 5? 2 weeks ago, we're on the podcast. Mm-hmm. It's the same 5 teams. Put them in whatever order you want.
Right.
Literally put them in whatever order you want. Now, that being said, I was at the Dolphins game this past week, and it was a joy to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, there's 25,000, maybe more Eagle fans. My son, I love him dearly, but he grew up in South Jersey, so he's an Eagles fan. I had him at the game. He flew down from Philly. he's sitting, next to me and my wife, and I sit right next to the Dolphin maniac. He's like the #1 fan for the Dolphins. So it was a kind of a nice thing to see, to just kind of quiet down the Eagle fans, because sometimes they need to be quieted down.
Oh man, come on!
So that was a beautiful thing.
They're almost close to the Cowboys and the Browns as the most overhyped teams. You know what I mean?
That's another top 5. That's another a list of 5. The Browns have to be the leading overhyped team.
Cowboys because of their talent.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys.
Cowboys got talent, man.
Yeah, but,
Cowboys should be way.
Let's
if
talk
the
about
Cowboys
them.
had a real coach, they would be dominating.
There's two other things I want to talk to you about. One is, the Cowboys game last night. Did you see that game last night?
Yeah, we talked about it.
It's just, come on. It was the same. It's the same. Now you mentioned
they don't care about that guy.
You mentioned the coach, Jason Garrett, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's just a matter of time, right? They're not going to dump. They can't dump him.
What I talked about today is that they could dump him, but they're not, because Jerry knows that he comes off the field and they're asking him, are you going to fire Jason? And then once he fires him for the next couple of weeks, it's all on him now. And so then they're going to be poking at him, and he knows that they're going to be picking on his faults. And he knows he has plenty of them. So he wants to keep the lightning rod in place till the end of the year.
Sure.
And then he could just face the media and hide.
Black Monday, Jason's gone.
And then that's it.
And by the way, the Cowboys have nobody to manage that team. Their offensive coordinator is a first-year guy, not really ready.
Yep.
Their defensive guy is Rod Marinelli. Last time he was a head coach, he didn't have a win.
Yeah, no,
he was winless, I think.
He's not a head coach. Detroit.
Detroit.
He is a defensive coordinator and a hell of a defensive coordinator. That's what he's been. That's what he'll always be.
So the question now begs: I need some Big O opinion here.
Okay.
Garrett's out.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a specific question. Do you think Urban Meyer takes the job?
No. Dallas, no. He's going to take either some kind of a college job. I don't think he takes the...
You don't think Jerry Jones goes after him?
No.
You think it's a good fit?
No, I don't.
I think it might be a decent fit.
I don't see him as an NFL guy.
I don't know. I think he can make it.
He's such a like... I don't know. He's confrontational. I don't know if he works. I don't know if he's going to be the guy that could handle men.
Well, here's the reason why I think it would be a good fit. One is I think he can make them winners. The problem is, the reason I think he's going to be reluctant to take it, if it ever becomes a reality type of thing, a possibility, is that Jerry Jones runs too much of the team.
Right.
And Urban's going to say, listen, Jerry, I'll take the job, but we got to do it my way. And then Jones is going to say, get back on the plane.
That's what we talked about, that Jerry's never going to have a great coach, because great coaches have their own ways of thinking and they want to do things their way. And in that place, you're going to have to do things Jerry's way. And that's why he hasn't had a respectable coach since Jimmy and Parcells.
So who do you think? Who do you think is going to end up at Dallas?
It's a puppet. Whatever guy that is just happy to have a job, some coordinator. But he's not going to get a guy that's his own man.
Yeah. All right.
And that's what the Cowboys need, because the players will never respect the coach that's there, because they all know that the coach that's there is never going to run anything or call any shots. It's the guy above him that calls all the shots. So while you continue to cut his knees off, you'll never get a coach.
So that's a good segue, right? So we're talking about the Cowboys. They're in first place in the NFC East. I want to talk about this topic. The worst division in NFL football in the last 3 or 4 years.
NFC East.
They're 16-33 collectively, and most of the 16 wins were against losing record teams.
Yeah. No,
it doesn't really get much
no
worse.
one in that division deserves to be in the playoffs.
Right, and it looks like the Cowboys are going to get there by default.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm actually, for my son's sake, and maybe for some of my friends back in Philly, and my good buddy Dominic, he's a big Eagles fan. I'm actually rooting for the Eagles. If somebody has to go in by default, let the Eagles go in. But and they have a shot. They have a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, right now
has a shot in that division.
The front runner would be the Cowboys, but It was that's a bad division. It's almost like
terrible.
It's a sin, like what has happened.
Washington's the only one that doesn't have a shot in that division, right? Or the Giants?
The Giants. I think the Giants are.
Are the Washington Redskins
mathematically still in it?
Right, they're still.
The Giants are out of it mathematically. Although somebody was texting me. The bunch of Philly guys were texting me because Eli is going to start this week.
Yes.
Right, and so they're saying that it's all about us. This miracle comeback that Eli is going to wheel off 4 victories, and they're going to be 6-10, and they're going to win the division. I don't think it can happen. I don't think it mathematically can happen. I think my Eagle fans were a little clouded from the rough weekend they had, and so they were texting me some crazy stuff.
It's such a terrible division, man.
But so we've talked about some really bad NFL this year, unbelievable. But there's I want to talk to you about one thing. Your opinion, another opinion, big O opinion. Okay. Latino coach Ron Rivera. He gets dumped. Now I'm going to just give you some factoids, then you tell me what your opinion on this is. Rivera was 5-7 when he got fired.
Right.
Tepper, the owner, says, I'm going to give him a chance. If you look at 3 of his losses this year, 2 came at the hands of their running back, McCaffrey, getting stopped on the 1-yard line in the 4th yard. So if he doesn't get stopped, they win those 2 victories.
Right.
And they had a kicker miss a doable field goal, which probably would have changed the outcome of that game. So that means Ron Rivera was 3 plays away from being 8-5.
Right.
8-4. And he gets fired at 5-7. What's your opinion on it?
I'm not a fan of the firing because I think he's been straddled also with Cam.
Well, Cam is. Think about it. Cam's injured this year.
No, he's had like 3 different offensive coordinators during his tenure. It's a hard guy to coach. It's a hard offense to run. Now that he got injured, you have to change everything because the Allen kid cannot run what Cam does. So it's a whole different ball game, and I think it's been a challenge for Ron. The problem with Ron was that he made the playoffs early on, and then lately he hasn't.
Right.
And that's how this league is what have you done for me lately?
Yes, I hear you.
And I think that's what's happened to him, unfortunately. But I'm with you. I wasn't a fan of it, and I think they're going to struggle to find themselves a coach that is going to do any better than what Ron did.
Who's Mr. Perfect coach that's going to come in there
I don't know.
and turn the Carolina Panthers, who have a first-year quarterback. They got a banged-up Cam Newton.
Yeah, he's a first-year quarterback that's a baby, too. I mean, it's just...
And Tepper's, obviously he's saying the right things. He's saying,
new owner, man. He wants his people now.
In defensive...
He inherited this.
But in defense of that owner, at least he's being somewhat nice about it to Rivera. Like he was saying, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's just part of the business. I get it, but... Who are you going to put into place? So,
and by the way, it's hard for you to ever pick on Ron Rivera. I know him personally, so I'm a little biased in this case. He's almost a friend to a certain extent for me. The only positive for me that he got fired is if he's not a head coach, I'll get to smoke cigars with him again at the Combine this year. I'll get to see him. But what's it called? Yeah, because I used to smoke a cigar with him and talk football for 2 hours every Combine with him.
Oh, nice.
And then, but that's when he was an assistant coach and a coordinator. When he became the head coach, he disappeared and he wasn't out at night anymore. And plus, social media has also changed the last 10 years. Coaches don't hang around nearly as much around us anymore because there's always people with phones and
what's going to happen?
Whatever. But anyway, my point is, I think Rivera's going to get a job immediately somewhere else.
Absolutely.
And I think he's going to be a good coach for somebody out there. And I think because players respect Ron because Ron is a stand-up guy. And he's a former player that knows the deal. Yeah, he's a damn good player. Not a great player, but Ron Rivera was like a damn good linebacker. You wanted him on your football team. And I think that's why players connect with him because he knows what they're going through. And he knows how to kind of handle those situations. And he's a really good communicator. And players love to play for that guy. And if you watch that about the Panthers, you never saw a lack of effort.
So I got another question. Coach,
yes.
We're sticking on the coaches. Jason Garrett, the Rivera. You think that Shermer from the Giants survives?
No, not at all.
Black Monday,
the thing is the Giants do classy things. They don't really get into the soap operas. They don't do the stuff in the middle of the season. They're not calling out their coaches. They don't do that kind of stuff. They wanted the perfect ending for Eli. They wanted Eli to just start this year, finish out his career, have a solid year, retire him, give him the, they wanted to give him the red carpet treatment that he deserves for winning 2 titles. You know what I mean?
And 2 MVPs.
And 2 MVPs. But it got to a point where it was just, it wasn't working out, and it was hurting everybody else, so they had to make the tough decision. The Giants are that team that they don't want to do this. So I think at the end of the year, they will make the change that they're supposed to make with Shermer. It just looks disastrous right now. He doesn't deserve to come back, unfortunately. I hate to say it, but
he doesn't. No.
Now in year 2, it doesn't look like you're improving, and I think you got to make a change.
So now the rumors I'm hearing is, and these are crazy. Remember, we're talking about NFL coaches here. Jason Garrett,
I know,
is talking about like he wants. I don't know. Some rumors like. Somehow he's gotten the word out that he wants to go to the New York Giants. I know he was an ex-Giant. He's went to school in East Coast.
I would take Rivera over him.
I'd take Rivera and probably 5 other guys over Jason Garrett.
I wouldn't hire Jason Garrett. I'd be so pissed. Like if the Dolphins needed a coach and they'd hire Jason Garrett, I swear I would try to rally people to go strike over at Dolphins facility. Seriously. I would be livid if they'd hired that bum.
Why so strong against Jason?
I think he's a bum.
I mean, I am too, but
I think he's a nothing.
I think
he's a jag.
Sort of middle of the road kind
of.
Right,
I think he's a jag. I think he's just
written all over him.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I think he's a guy who draws no respect from players. And he's a former player and all that.
Yeah, but he was a backup.
And he was a backup. Well,
but backup quarterback.
Backup quarterbacks usually are pretty damn good coaches.
They're usually pretty smart too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peterson, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy really made his. He might get to the Hall of Fame.
Not only
a coach.
Right, but there have been other guys that have done really well as backup coaches, as head coaches. It's like a catcher. It's just one of those positions that translates. But with him, I just, that personality or lack thereof, like yesterday, every time there's something wrong, I don't see any conviction. I don't see any confidence. It's just PR, PC crap that he spews.
A lot of PC crap.
Yeah, it's just, and to me, I think he just says the company lines, and there's no real emotion tied to it, and I just don't think he's a guy that players buy.
So listen, full disclosure, I'm a Giants and a Dolphins fan. Okay.
Okay. Well, the world isn't perfect.
So as a make it even worse.
I'm glad you. Hey, listen, I admitted yesterday I love mounds. You love the Giants. Some things are just not right in the world.
Well, there's two other. There's a worse fanhood that I have. I like the Yankees and the Mets, which is like a Cardinal sin.
That's your you two have that disease. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I can't help
Listen,
you guys.
In 1969, I was an 11-year-old kid. The amazing Mets are winning the World Series. I can still rattle off the lineup. Ed Kranepool, Kenny Boswell, Bud Harrelson. At third base, a little tricky. They platooned Red Garrett and Ed Charles. Left field was Cleon Jones. Tommy Agee in center. The slowest outfielder in the world to ever play the game, Ron Swoboda in right field, and Jerry Grody catching. Jerry Kuzman, lefty. Tom Seaver, the righty. Poor Tom Seaver, he's a little ill right now. And Nolan Ryan and Tug McGraw. What a staff. You're talking about a lot of years of there. Right? So
Tug McGraw.
But I also like the Yankees.
With my Phillies, by the way.
I was going to say Phillies, yeah.
My wife and I, we go up to go see the spring training, and a couple years back, about 5-6 years ago, Jeter was still playing. I think it was Jeter's last year, and Rivera was still playing. Rivera pitched 2 innings in spring training, which was like absurd. It's really fun. So I'm a Yankee and Met fan, so I do have this like confusion.
Yeah, you are twisted.
Of twisted sports teams fans, but at any rate. That being said, what I'm worried about is, as a Giant fan, Garrett, the Giant organization might like Garrett because he is PC.
Right.
And he's an ex-quarterback, and he can help out their protege, Jones.
Yeah.
See, that sounds, on a resume, sounds right. But in the big picture, I don't think it's right.
No, I like better that Ron Rivera can get Norv Turner. And I'm good with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Can you give a call to the Mara family?
That's what I'm saying. I'd just rather get the really good coach, and then he could get a really good offensive coordinator because that's what Norv Turner is. He's a really good offensive coordinator. Crappy head coach. You don't want him being a head coach, but if he's your offensive coordinator, you're good.
So I'm going to change directions on you, Big O.
All right.
This past Saturday, I didn't see you. I was looking all under the crowd. This past Saturday, we gave away a $46,000 Mercedes. A beautiful woman won the car. It was a nice
I needed
day.
It, too, because I just totaled my car.
You should have been there. I told you to be there.
I just totaled my car. I just totaled it like 4 days ago. I totaled my car.
But we have some things to look forward to. Like you said earlier.
You giving another car away so I can sign up? Because
the next big event is New Year's Eve. We have a big party in the whole casino. The whole casino. We're going to have a live band in the lobby right there all night. Obviously there'll be plenty of New Year's Eve cheer.
Oh,
that we'll be
nice.
serving. Everybody gets hats and horns and stuff. So it's a free party on New Year's Eve. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Well, come on out on New Year's Eve.
But you can come on New Year's Eve and enjoy the festivities. So always a fun time in the Hialeah Park. And I'm looking forward to tonight. You'll be there, right?
Yes.
You'll be there?
Both. Bill and I are going to be here tonight for Larry Little's event, man.
It's a nice cause, too.
It's a great cause. Come on, man. Raising money for kids to go to college, and let's get them educated, and let's get them to a brighter future. Hell's yeah, man.
And
I love it.
There was one other thing I wanted to mention in poker here. Right here.
Yes.
Sitting in the poker room.
Poker. That's what she said.
Now this year at the end of December, we've got a giant. Every day we have great high hands, but at the end of the month, the day after Christmas, we have a giant. One of our biggest high hands promotions ever. So you got to come out that week. Between Christmas and New Year's Eve, this is the place to be in this poker room. If you play poker, this is the place to be.
Well, high hands. The question is, will Dion Waiters, fresh off a plane with gummy bears, come on out here and enjoy a high hand? That's all I got to ask. That's it. Because, Dion loves his gummies. You know about that story, right?
I do not. Please tell me.
Dion Waiters, do you know who he is?
No.
Basketball player for the Heat.
Sure.
He OD'd on gummies that are, THC,
I didn't know that. I didn't hear
Yeah,
that.
So he actually had like a panic attack and everything in the plane.
Supercharged gummies.
And, yeah, exactly. So he has a high hand. So I'm just saying, maybe he wants to come out here and take advantage of the high hands out here at Hialeah.
Exactly the same high hand.
Not the same kind of high hands, but since he has a high hand,
he might
have a chance here, and you never know.
I'm glad you're.
Artists all the time write great music when they're high.
That's what I've heard.
You know what I mean? There was somebody that was high at Art Basel that bought a banana on a wall for $120,000. Did you see that?
I did see that one.
Banana on a wall, duct taped, and let's pay $120,000 for that.
Yeah,
you got to be high to do that.
Real high.
So people like that should come to Hialeah and try their luck at the high hand here.
Right here in our poker room. It's a great poker room.
Man, it's so comfortable.
The action tonight's Friday morning. It's already packed.
It's
already packed.
Yeah, and the good thing, you guys, besides the captain's chairs and the food and the massage, but the TVs everywhere. And let me tell you, tomorrow, Championship Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
You'll have all the games going on. Well, tonight you can have the Pac-12 game going on.
Tonight.
Yeah, Utah and Oregon tonight. That's going to be on. And they have also the TV so you can watch and wager at all the tracks around the country. All right, the Veranda Bar and Cafes right here so you can have a great drink and some delicious food. Then you've got downstairs the Flamingo Bar and Lounge where you can dance the night away. Tonight you can have some food, all that good stuff. And then I think the number is over 900 machines downstairs. Am I correct?
That's the number.
There you go. And then they've also got, remember, it's a non-smoking casino, so you won't have some dude next to you, with his Virginia Slims stinking up the place. I use Virginia Slims. Anyway, we also have the outside part, which, cool nights now. We've got all the machines outside,
and
so you
Virginia
can
Slims.
enjoy your Virginia Slims and your cigars and all that outside. So we have the smoking slots, is what we call them out here.
Smoking
at
hot.
Smoking hot slots.
Smoking hot slots.
Right, so you can bring your high hand and have a smoking hot slot out here at Hialeah Park. You know what I mean?
I don't even understand why people just everybody needs to come here.
Right.
That kind of introduction, the high hand, the smoking hots. Come on,
Come on. And don't you still have the big ow going on here? Do we still have that?
Yes, we do.
There you go. So we got to do that. When is the big ow going on here at Hialeah Park? Huh?
I don't know the exact
Okay,
date.
all right.
I'm sorry.
All right, but we will remind you when the big ow comes back here at Hialeah Park, okay? And then that way maybe you can participate in the big ow here at Hialeah Park. And you can bring your high hand and get it hot.
There you go. I think you've laid it out perfectly in terms of Hialeah Park and the NFL.
That's right.
Pretty good NFL.
When it comes to getting laid, we are always right on top of it. Literally.
All right, boss.
All right.
That's a
Steve Calabro, baby.
Thank you, Big O. Take care.
Way to go, man. Thank you as always, all right? Excellent segment by you. Have a fantastic week. I'll see you tonight, man.
We'll
have some fun tonight with Larry Little and the folks. All right, so there you go. You're gonna podcast that one?
Of course.
Okay.
And I just have to state that you almost got us to the next guest.
Oh yeah, that's right. You
guys did. Guys did well.
Thank you, Steve, as always. Appreciate it, my brother.